Forget nootropics. The single best way to give yourself a cognitive upgrade is to improve the quality and quantity of your sleep. And forget bodybuilding supplements. The single best way to improve your gains and your strength is to improve the quality and quantity of your sleep.
What a fine day for science!
If you're serious about strength training, fitness, losing weight, or improving the sharpness of your mind, then it's very important that you put a big emphasis on the quality and quantity of your sleep. The more you sleep, the better your next day is going to be. You'll be able to retain information better, you'll be in a better mood, you'll have more energy. Also, during sleep is when the body builds muscle and repairs from the damage you've put it through in the gym. It's when your body's most anabolic, as opposed to catabolic, meaning you're building tissue instead of burning it. And it also has long-term effects. If you keep getting good night's sleep, then it'll aid with your plasticity, you'll learn things faster, and your body will be in generally much better shape. If you're interested in self-improvement and fitness, etc., as I am, you'll probably have found that there are countless different ideas and tips and hacks on how you can improve your sleep. These involve everything from lying on a spiky mat, to taking ZMA supplements, to using valerian root, and if you can get these massive lists of all these different sleep hacks, and you can go through them all and try and do everything perfectly to get the best sleep you can. Unfortunately, most of them either don't work or they're negligible, as in they're just not worth the effort. ZMA does barely anything, spiky sleep mat is ridiculous, etc. And a lot of them are just impractical as well. So I'm more interested in looking at a few simple things you can do that will have big impacts. You know, you're not going to find a magic bullet. Some of these aren't that easy to implement, but they're the simple, straightforward truth for enhancing sleep. So the first and most important tip, and the obvious place to start, is just try and get more sleep, as in prioritize it, give it the respect it deserves. If you are serious, like I say, about improving your strength and your cognitive abilities, then you need to prioritize sleep. You need to get your 8 hours if possible, 6 will do if you have to, and you need to make sure that you create a quiet environment to sleep in. You know, if you're staying up all night till 2 a.m. in the morning watching YouTube videos, then it's no surprise if you're functioning, and eating valerian root isn't going to help you. Next up is try having a hot shower or a hot bath before you go to bed. This has loads of good benefits. It improves your body temperature, it relaxes the muscles far more effectively than many of these relaxants you can take. It just puts you in a relaxing mood, and I believe it helps to stimulate the production of growth hormone, which will make your sleep even more anabolic. This is an example of a simple, straightforward thing that really does make a big difference. Just take a nice hot bath before bed and then go to sleep, and I think you'll notice the difference. Plus, you can stay in bed a little bit longer the next day because you won't have to shower or bath for the next morning. So that's one of the major things I recommend you do. Obviously, not all these things are always going to be practical or convenient, and maybe you don't like showering in the evening and you'd rather do it in the morning. That's fine. You know, these are just my ideas. If you just take a couple of them, then hopefully they'll be useful. Another really important thing to do is to just take half an hour or 15 minutes to unwind and relax in the evening. Great way to do this is just with a book in bed, like an old person. This is a great way to let your mind unwind if you're stressed. It's a great way to chill out. At the same time, you can feel your eyes starting to tire out from the focusing, which makes you feel sleepy. And it gives you a break from screens like your phone and your computer. See, I experimented for a while with blue blocking shades. I was going to wear them for you, but I can't find them, but I'm sure you'll get over that. These are kind of yellow looking shades that block out the blue spectrum of the light. See, the problem with mobile phones and computers is that the blue light that they produce, your brain mistakes it for sunlight and thus produces more cortisol instead of melatonin, so you kind of wake up. In the old days, we didn't have TVs, And even when we were using candlelight, that wouldn't be enough to wake us up. But these days, we're kind of always wired, always staring at screens, which are also stressful because you're getting emails from people all the time that might be stressing you out. And then you're supposed to just go straight to sleep whilst you're kind of, all wired out. So the idea of blue blocking shades was to block the light that comes from the screens, and also you can get other devices, other ways of doing this, like apps that block the blue spectrum on your mobile phone. Problem with blue blocking shades is that I wore them for a couple of evenings, and my wife was like, "Why are you such a prick?" Because you look like a knob. It's not very convenient. You bump into stuff because it's dark, and then other people say, well, install the app on your phone. Then suddenly the TV's on, that undoes it. So just take 15 minutes out at the end of the day to do some reading, to sit quietly, to chill out, and it'll make a massive difference to your ability to then go immediately to sleep and have a much more restful sleep where your heart rate's not sky high. The next one is to keep a window open, or just to keep the temperature in your room a little cooler whilst you sleep. This makes a big difference because that's how we're used to sleeping, that's how we evolved to sleep. Obviously our environments were cooler, and your body can regulate its temperature a little better that way. You can still give yourself enough duvet and cover to climb under to stay warm, but rather than creating a very toasty atmosphere to sleep in, try and create a slightly cooler atmosphere to sleep in. And after that nice warm bath, you should feel all snuggly, and you'll sleep way better. Again, it's simple, it's easy, it's obvious even, but it works. Finally, as far as quick and simple tricks go, or tips, just make sure that you're getting plenty of exercise during the day before you go to bed, and especially running and walking outdoors. That's especially good because then you're getting fresh air, you're getting sunlight and vitamin D, and of course you're tiring your body out a little bit more, and then you'll find it much easier to sleep when you go to bed that night. So far, so dull, you might be thinking. None of this stuff is exactly groundbreaking, that's kind of the point. But one gadget that I do think is awesome for improving not so much your sleep, but your ability to wake up in the morning and prevent sleep inertia, that's that nasty groggy feeling that you get, is this. It's a Lumi, and I think mine was called the Lumi Starter 10 or Starter 50 or something, but there's lots of different models. There you go. Kamehameha! Point is, this device is a lamp. It's called a daylight lamp, or a daylight clock, and the idea is that it creates light that is a similar wavelength to the sun. So it does exactly the same thing as your mobile phones and your screens, but except this time you're doing it on purpose, and it happens in the morning, which is when you want to wake up, and it happens slowly. So what you can do is you can set the alarm. So say you want to wake up at 9, which is quite a nice late morning for you, jealous. Then what you can do is you set the alarm, and then starting at 8:40 or whatever, it gradually starts to get brighter, like so. It's a little smoother when it does it, but the idea is that it's rousing you out of sleep, and it's actually very effective. Sometimes it actually wakes me up, because once you get to 9 it then beeps. I think the more expensive models you can get will do things like make nice birdie noises. Let me tell you a ghost story. The more expensive ones can make birdie noises or more natural sounds to wake you up, but this one just beeps. But the point is, if you're lucky and if it's worked really well, then you'll wake up without even needing the noise. And when that happens, you feel like you've had the longest night. It's like such a natural way to wake up, so much better than being startled awake by a loud buzzing noise. Honestly, that's great. But even if you don't wake up by the light alone and you do need the alarm, just the fact that your light is room and in a very that your room is light and in a very natural and kind of refreshing light makes a massive difference. You're not waking up in the dark just like, oh. Instead, you're waking up in this really nice bright space. It makes a massive difference, and I recommend that gadget. And that wasn't too expensive, so there's a little hack for you if you did want a hack. By the way, just an additional note, the Lumi is very good if you suffer from SAD, that's seasonal affective disorder. This is a condition where you feel just generally low and possibly even depressed during the winter months. That's because it can help to improve your body clock in general throughout the day by giving yourself the external Zeitgeber, time giver, that you need in order to set your body clock in motion. So if you are someone who struggles to get up in the morning and then feels low all day in the winter, you might especially benefit from something like this. And as well as helping you feel better in the morning, using something like this to prevent sleep inertia can also help you to wake up more quickly, which means you can get more done. This was something I really struggled with when I first started working for myself. So if you can find ways to wake up quicker, that's really good. And one more tip, in regards to that, which is something that a lot of people would advise you don't do. I actually find it really useful in the morning to grab my phone and check my emails. Everyone says don't do that because then you're becoming reactive instead of proactive and you're stressing yourself out first thing in the morning. Personally, I don't find my emails that stressful, and I'm great at just ignoring stuff that I don't care about, so this isn't a problem for me. But I get paid by my email, and I like to browse Facebook, and I like to play games. I like to see how many views my website's had. So this is something I actually really look forward to doing in the morning. And so when I wake up and I'm too tired to just spring out of bed, what I'm normally not too tired for is just to reach over, grab my phone, and just check a few emails absent-mindedly. And by the time I've done that, that then normally means I'm awake enough to actually get up properly. So that's how I beat that urge to just hit snooze. I think, well, I don't have to get up, but if I can just prop myself up and do something I'm looking forward to, and as soon as I think, oh yeah, maybe someone's left a comment on my website, then I'm like, yeah, I'll check that even though I'm exhausted. You see what I mean? You need something that, if you can find something that will motivate you to get just one stage closer to getting up, and then that'll help you. I think that helped me to wake up in the morning. Note that if you use these tips and you're finding it still very difficult to wake up in the morning, perhaps you're feeling a bit sick. A lot of people feel a bit sick in the morning. Perhaps you're feeling weirdly cold. Perhaps you feel like you've got a cold, sniffly nose. Then there's a few things that can cause that that you might want to consider. One is that you could have an allergy. Even if you don't know that you've got hay fever or something, you can develop it at any age, and often it's worse in the morning because you've been asleep all night. So if you've got your window ajar, as I suggested earlier, that might actually be a bad thing if you happen to have an allergy to dander. So try closing it, see if that improves matters. Another possibility is mold in your house. You might be getting mold poisoning. So if you suspect this could be the case, maybe there's a damp smell in your house, then look into that as well, because that can leave you feeling scratchy throat in the morning. Another consideration is that you're just dehydrated. This is a problem that I suffer with, so I go to bed with lots of water and I drink large amounts of water, which makes me the loo, catch-22. You've got to get it just right. Another option is to try using chia seeds. These absorb water. If you eat them, then in theory they should release the moisture more gradually throughout the night. I haven't actually tried that one, but you could try that one. Another one is you might have sleep apnea. This means you're waking up for brief spells during the night. If you think you have sleep apnea, the best thing to do is to ask somebody to check you whilst you sleep, probably a partner or just that creepy guy who watches you sleep. Otherwise, you could go to the sleep clinic and have them film you. You could even film yourself. So this means you're waking up in the night, but very briefly because you can't breathe and you don't remember it. So if you have that, you need to sort it out. You might be given a CPAP machine by the doctors, a continuous positive airway pressure device. Finally, could be that you've got low blood sugar, and this is why some people recommend eating a spoonful of honey, which the effects of that might be negligible for most people, but if you do suspect that you might have low blood sugar when you go to sleep, then try that one and it might help. So yeah, consider that if you're feeling rough in the morning, it might mean that something's not right. It could also mean that you are just fighting a cold, in which case, give yourself some rest, take some time off at the gym. You might be overtrained. Also, stock up on vitamins and minerals. And finally, one last thing that I'd like to go over is using CBT or cognitive behavioural therapy to try and help yourself fall asleep. If you're someone who suffers with a kind of insomnia, I'm not talking clinical insomnia here because I don't know enough about that to help you out, but if you just struggle getting yourself to sleep and calming down in the evening, then what can help is to change the way you think about sleep, and that's the idea of CBT. It's something I'll be talking more about in future videos. So in this case, if you're trying to force yourself to get to sleep, and if you're thinking in your head, man, I'm so tired, and for every minute that goes past, I'm going to be tireder tomorrow, and you look at the clock and it's 4 a.m, you think everyone else is asleep, then what you're actually doing is stressing yourself out. You're producing more adrenaline and more of dopamine, all the kind of excitable neurotransmitters and hormones, and that's making your heart rate get higher. It's the opposite of being able to sleep well. So what you need to do instead is just let it go, as Elsa would say, and relax and just let yourself fall asleep or not. You've got to take the pressure off. So I used to struggle with insomnia when I was much younger because of all the demons. And my mum used to say, don't worry about getting to sleep, just lie there and relax, because at the very least, relaxing is better for you than nothing, which is true. So instead of trying to force myself to sleep, I would just think, well, this is nice, I'll just lie here and I'll think about my ideas and, I'll maybe just, enjoy being quiet and not having any stress. And as soon as you do that, you fall asleep. That's the irony. As soon as you think, oh, I'm loving lying here, I could lie here all night and not even worry about sleep, that's when you fall asleep. So go to bed, not necessarily even with the intention of getting to sleep right away. Let your body worry about that. You just worry about relaxing and feeling comfortable. And yeah, if you can stay awake longer, lying there, just enjoying not having to be anywhere or do anything and getting to think over your ideas, then that's great. And I'm pretty sure when you do that, you'll find you sink off to sleep pretty quickly. So hope that helps somebody. As usual, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, something a little bit different, and I'll be back to usual training and brain training and productivity videos as usual in the next one. So thanks again and see you next time. Bye for now. Bonus round. If you find that you aren't able to get enough sleep, then there is a chance for a reprieve. You can have a power nap at some point during the day. Just make sure that when you do this, you sleep between 20 and 90 minutes. No, wrong. You sleep not between those amounts. You sleep up to 20 minutes or over 90 minutes. Reason being that sleep cycle is 90 minutes. If you wake up prior to 20 minutes, then you'll wake up before you reach the deeper stages of sleep. If you wake up after 90 minutes, you'll wake up after the deeper stages of sleep. At least that's the theory. It's not always that easy because you can't time exactly how long it takes you to sleep, and of course nothing is completely clockwork in the body. But as a general rule, that's how you want a power nap. And if you do these proper long power naps for 90 minutes, then studies show that they wake you up and make you more productive, more so than something like a spot of caffeine. So something to consider.